Morning students, welcome to BRGS online classes. I hope you all are safe and healthy. Kids, today we will be starting with a new lesson. So let's go ahead and see what we will be learning in today's class. Students, today we will be starting with chapter number 12 of history, and the name of the chapter is The Cholas and the Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra. In this chapter, you will be learning the expansion of Chola Empire and their contributions to different fields. You will also learn about the establishment of Hoysalas, their contribution towards religion, literature, art, and architecture. Let's get started with the Cholas first. Kids, the Cholas ruled from 9th century to 13th century and secured a firm hold on many areas in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. They spread Indian culture in foreign language, constructed grand temples and encouraged Tamil literature. The Cholas were under the Pallavas in the beginning and later became independent. Sangam literature states that Karikala Chola was the founder of this dynasty. Vijayalaya Chola made Tanjavur as his capital, revived the kingdom. King Rajaraja I was an able administrator. He expanded his kingdom and strengthened its foundations. The Cheras, Gangas and Pandyas were overpowered by him. He built a strong naval force, captured Sri Lanka and began overseas trade. He built the Brideshwara temple. He greatly influenced the politics, economy, culture of Sri Lanka, Malaysia and Singapore. The Chola Empire became weak during the rule of Rajendra Chola III and the Pandyas easily overpowered them. The administrative system of Cholas was able and efficient. The Cholas kingdom was divided into Mandalam, Kotwangi, Nadu, Kuranam and Tarakuranam, that is village. There was a committee of subjects called Ur in every village. The highlight of the Chola administration was the development of the self-governance of the village in the form of Grama Sabhas. Every Kurum had a village committee named Mahasabha whose members were chosen through elections. Sanskrit scholars and rich people were allowed to stand for them. The tax collected was 1/6 part of the land revenue. The Cholas constructed many lakes like Bellanduru Lake near Bangalore. They built a huge pond in Gangaikonda, Cholapuram and paid special attention to irrigation. Being Shaivites, the Cholas built many Shiv temples. The Brihadeshwara temple in Tanjavur, which is 500 feet tall and has 250 feet wide courtyard and 200 feet tall Shrikara, is an example of Chola's art and architecture. The image you can see it on the screen. King Rajendra built the Choleshwara temple. The Cholas built Apramaya temple at Chanpattanam, Panchalingeshwara temple in Begur and Mukti Nateshwara temple in Binamangala. The temples also functioned as economic and cultural centers. The idols of time such as Shiva, Ganapati, Vishnu, Durga and Kartikeya are famous. Agrahas were established by the Cholas to encourage education. Among the Uttara Meru Graha is famous. The temples were centers of education and religious activities. Tamil literature found an all-round development during this period. Now let's study in brief about the Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra. Kids, after the Chalukyas became weak in Karnataka, it was the Hoysalas who became strong. The founder of this dynasty, Sala, on the order of Jain monk Sudatta, fought with the tiger and killed it near Angadi in Muddigere taluk of Chikkamangaluru district. It inspired the people to exclaim Hoysala. He established this empire. These kings made significant contributions to literature, education, art, architecture, and irrigation. Vishnuvardhana was the important king of Hoysala who came after Nirupakama, Iryagna, and Ballala as a great king of this dynasty. He won Gangavadi from the Cholas. To show his victory, he built the Kritinarayana temple in Talakadu and Chennakeshwar temple at Belur. He tried to expand his kingdom but was defeated by the Chalukya king Vikramaditya IV. Students, on the screen you can see few of the architecture which was built by the Hoysalas. Now coming back to the lesson, the contributions of the Hoysalas. Kids, the Hoysala had brought into practice provincial system of administration. The power to rule was given to prime, queen and the royal family. The official looked after administration, that is office work of the Nadu and the Vishayas. In the village, there used to be the representative of the government like the Gauda, Shanubhoga, Talavara and others. In order to encourage agriculture, the Hoysala built innumerable lakes like the Shanti Sagara, Balalaraya Samudra, Vishnu Samudra and many more. In the cities, there used to be guilds among the people following different occupations. Okay, there was not that people were following one occupation, they had an option of following other occupations as well. Land revenue was a main source of income for the kingdom. Same like Cholas, even the Hoysalas had agrahas, mutts and temple centers of education. They were excellent educational institute at Melukote, Salagame and other places. Here the study of the Vedas, Veda Shastra, Kannada and Sanskrit used to be carried on. Kannada literature flourished immensely during this period. Rudrabhata wrote Jagannatha Vijaya. Kids, during this period of the Hoysalas, different religions like Jainism, Buddhism, Shivism, Vaishnavism, Veera Vaishnavism and Sri Vaishnavism were encouraged. The architecture of the Hoysalas is world famous. The Hoysalas got their innumerable temples built in soapstone. There are 5 features that can be seen in all their temples. The military general Ketamala built the Hoysaleshwara temple at Halebeedu. The Keshava temple constructed by Somadanda Nayaka at Somantapura is famous. The Hoysala architecture has influenced all other architectural styles of later years. That's all for today's class. Thank you very much for paying attention. Have a great day ahead.